you ever made an offhand joke to a friend only to realize that it's actually kind of a good idea? Unfortunately, I wouldn't be able to relate because I only come up with bad ideas. So in this instance, a friend of mine had shown me some of the graphics that he had been working on for a holiday called National Cookie Day. Honestly, the designs were great, but the first thing that popped into my head was, why not just make the letter forms out of cookies rather than using a font? Now, I just said that as a dumb joke, but the more I thought about it, I was like, it's kind of a dumb enough idea to be fun. So I thought, why not give it a try and make a video out of it? So that's exactly what we're going to do in this video. I'm going to get some cookie dough. We're going to shape them into letter forms. We're going to bake them. I'll take some pictures of them and then we'll see what we come up with. So let's get to it. All right, so I've got some cookie dough and then I printed out a piece of paper with some type on it. So pretty much the idea is that I can put this underneath this parchment paper so I can still see the letter forms. So that way I can take this and then hopefully mold it to the shape of the letter forms. I don't really know how thick it needs to be, how thin it needs to be, if this will even work. So we're just going to do just a quick test run with one of the letter forms and then we'll see how that turns out. And if it works, then we'll keep going. And if we find something that goes wrong, then we can adjust until we get a result that we're looking for. So let's just get to it. So right now, this is the same width of the letter forms. So I don't know if that's going to be too much or too little, because once the cookie starts expanding, it could, fill in this gap between the C here. I don't really know if that's gonna happen or not. So I might try making another letter form and then just trying to go a little bit thinner just to see if what the differences are and if one is better than the other. So that way I kind of have a couple different options to kind of look at rather than just baking this one. Because we have the K, so let's try something with the K. That could be a good one to try out. Let's try the O and the I, and then we'll bake it and we'll see how it turns out. All right, so small update. I was about to put these cookies in and my mom stopped me and she gave a really good idea, which is basically just take this knife and then just kind of go through and cut around all the letter forms just to make them a little bit thinner, which will definitely help whenever they bake. So not a huge change, but I think it'll definitely be helpful in making sure that they don't become a giant cookie mess. But if they do, at least I'll have a cookie. So let's put these in the oven and we'll see how they turn out. Alright, so this is the first batch and how they came out, which they came out surprisingly well. The only one that I'm not super sure about is the K, but I think it's alright for, at least for our purposes. Maybe I'll do a second one, maybe I won't, but I think as far as kind of experimenting and seeing how they will actually turn out, I think this turned out pretty good. So what I'll do is I will cook the rest of the cookies or the rest of the letter forms, see how those come out, and then we'll take some pictures and we'll start putting everything together. So let's get to it. honestly, I really struggled to come up with some good designs for this one. After I was done taking pictures and I had done all the editing on them, I was staring at them and I kept thinking, where do I go from here? I guess I really hadn't thought this entire project through, and I just thought it would be funny to make some letterforms out of cookies. And I hadn't really thought about what does the actual design look like at the end of it. So cue me just kind of throwing things at the wall, trying to see what I can come up with and just failing spectacularly. I tried adding some text around the cookies to see if maybe I could make something work like that. Didn't really turn out that well. I also thought about just vectorizing the cookies so that way I still have the unique look from the cookies, but they're kind of vectorized so they look more like a font. That also didn't really work out. I thought maybe I'm just overthinking it and I just take the pictures that I took and add some crumbles or something around just to make it feel a little bit more cohesive, and that still didn't really look very good. And finally, after working on this for a few days and literally almost giving up and just saying, no one even knows that I started recording this, so it doesn't even matter if the video never shows up, I finally managed to get somewhere that I liked. So here's where we ended up. So something that I've been working a lot in my free time is working with grids. It's definitely something that I'm familiar with, that I've done a lot, but I'm really trying to work on my skills in that area because I feel like they could be a little bit better, and especially trying to find creative ways to work inside of a grid. And while I don't think that I'm doing necessarily anything super crazy or technical here, I really like the simplistic look of everything. I think adding in the simple typography to the design really helps bring everything together because you have these cookie letter forms that are really wild and really eye-catching, but since they're so big and there's so much going on, I feel like having this simple typography kind of helps balance the design out to where it's like you have the zany cookie idea, but then you also have something that's simplistic and tells you exactly what the post is about. And while the typography is simple and it's not anything crazy or experimental, I think it looks really nice for what it's supposed to be. And so basically what I think works for this design is that I'm matching really well laid out typography as well as just interesting visuals that you want to stop and look at. And while I was working on the typography using a grid, I also noticed that the way that I had the cookies kind of arranged was also kind of in a grid. So I feel like maybe there's a sense of cohesion that they're all using a grid. And so I feel like even though it wasn't intentional, I feel like someone looking at this design might think that everything was laid out in a grid on purpose, even if it was really just kind of by accident. So with that being said, I'd love to hear what you guys thought about this. Was it a good idea? Was it a bad idea? How did the designs turn out? Did I do well? Did I do poorly? What do you think? Would have you done something differently? Leave a comment and let me know. And of course, as always, if you found this video helpful or entertaining in any way, I'd appreciate it if you would check out the rest of my channel and then consider subscribing. Hope to see you in the next video.